Today we're at the 5-week point on the plants. I'm going to show you all developments that have occurred, and I'm going to give you some tips and some thoughts that I wish I would have known 5 weeks ago when I started this garden. Interested? Here we go. Here's the basil we planted with the werewolf claw video. These were all planted at the same time. They're the same variety. These are significantly bigger than these, and it has all to do with the amount of sunlight that they're getting. So this one gets a little bit more sunlight than this one does. It's amazing the difference in sunlight, how it will play out with your plants. Let's talk a little bit about these basil plants. They're doing great. You can see the configuration of leaves here. If it goes 2, 2, 2, you're good.
When you get dense pack
Like this, then you're basically getting to the flower stage, and you want to pick that off so that the plant will keep growing the basil leaves you want and not the flowers. Some people eat the flowers. We don't. We kind of prefer the leaves. I really like cherry tomatoes. They're like little grapes, but they're very scraggly. Let's take them off and I'll show you how I did that. I'll post it up here and down below. This year that has really strengthened the plants, even the scraggly cherry tomato. And you can see I'm just letting all the suckers go on here, and we'll just let it do its thing. Very interesting is you got identical plants here. These are both Romas. And here you don't have any yellowing. You got a little bit of roughness on the leaves, and here you have significant yellowing. And these plants are right next to each other. They're about the same height, and they're both putting out fruit. So it's just interesting sometimes how you can have identical plants, and the health of the plants can be significantly different even when they're just a couple feet away. Now here we have spots on the leaves. This will lead to the yellowing, and you have some leaves that look fairly good. Now some people will go all the way back to the stalk and cut it, but I prefer to go in here and try to just trim the leaves that aren't looking so good, because every leaf you give to the plant helps it grow. I haven't even looked at these plants for a week. We were kind of busy with other things, and here I'm just going to take this little sucker off, but I'm going to leave this bigger sucker on and see how well it does. I've taken the suckers off and actually put them in water, got them to root, put them back in the ground, but I don't think you get much more out of that than if you just leave them on the plant. Here is a $3 plant, and here is our famous $6 plant. Now this was planted a couple days later from this one, but you can see it's significantly shorter, probably a foot to 2 feet shorter, and I don't think it looks any better. In fact, you can see some brown here. I took some of the brown already off, so I'm going to have to go back in and take care of that. Now this year we've had a lot of rain, and I think that might be a factor. I mean, the level of green, we've always had some yellowing. In fact, you can see I've already been pruning that back. You want to trim it back as soon as you see it, because you don't want it to kind of filter through the entire plant. But sometimes it gets pretty rough as far as whether or not you take too much off. When sprouts come out like this, I like to put them back in the cages. And the best way to do that is get well below where this is. If you try to do it too high, you're just going to break the sensitive tomato plant. Here I go, just push it in like this, then come back up here and keep it in the cages, because I think they grow better up and it just kind of contains everything. Now here's one I kind of let go too far, and if I try to pull it in, I'm a little concerned I might break it. So let's give it a shot and see if I can do it. See, even a big one like this you can probably get in there. Yeah, wow. Pretty lucky. And then like for the actual leaves, so for like this leaf here, I'll just take it out like that to kind of let it spread its wings. This guy's going to require some major work right here, and we're probably going to go all the way to the stalk. Now you can see getting in here is sometimes kind of hard. I use these forceps. I got them at Home Depot. You can also get them online. I'll post below where you might be able to get a good pair. And they're great for extracting leaves out of the plant. In fact, you can actually twist and pull it off like that. But some people prefer the clean cut look. So that's what we'll do here. And trim all these off. And sometimes it's just good to use that forceps. Come in here like this, cut it, boom. And then you've got it easy to take out. Trying to reach in there all the time is just kind of hard. So I'm going to finish up on this plant and get all these yellow branches off. By the way, you can see this landscaping fabric is working great. We're not getting any weeds coming in here at all. And if you do have a couple, like there's a little weak one right here, then you can just pull it out. Keep those weeds down, because we want all the water and all the nutrients to go to the tomato plants. I wanted to show you how good the landscaping fabric is on keeping weeds away. So if we didn't have the landscaping fabric right here, we would have a whole bunch of weeds like this. Now I'm gonna pull these as soon as I get done with the video, but this landscaping fabric just does a great job. And I think it keeps the plants healthier because it retains the water and puts a little bit of heat in there to help stimulate the growth of the plants. For a point of reference, this is the $6 tomato plant and it's just under 4 feet. Here is a $3 tomato plant and it's topping out above 5 feet. Here we have all the Romas and they're topping out somewhere between 4 feet 8 inches, 4 feet 10, almost 5 feet. This guy's a little shorter, he's around 4'8", but they're all in the ballpark of somewhere between 4'8" and 5 feet. The cherry tomatoes, they sprout up quickly, and this guy's well over 6 feet tall, probably more like 7 feet tall. Here's the other cherry tomatoes. As you can see, just like their buddy over on that side, 7 feet tall, and towards the end of the season, we'll be able to be right up on the railing there and be able to pick the cherry tomatoes right off the vine without even going down to the garden. Here's the big boy plant. It's not much of a big boy at all. In fact, it's our little runt of the litter, and it's coming in around 3 feet 7 inches. Just isn't growing up. I don't know why, because usually the big boys are just as big as anything else. This is a Mr. Stripey. I love Mr. Stripeys. They're low acid and they just have a great color to them. The stripes are red and yellow. And this guy is currently at 5. So here you can go down the corridor this midday and you can see that there's lots of light. We've got great spacing on the tomato plants. That seems to be key. We've tried to jam more tomato plants in on this garden space here, 20 sometimes. It just doesn't produce. I think you need the spacing to optimize your garden. The peach tree this year is absolutely amazing. The progress it's made. I'm not a big chemical kind of person. I like to do things as organic as possible. The chemicals I'm using on this tree, they're probably not organic, are really making a difference. The health of this tree is night and day difference from last year. We are getting some things falling off. There's a little bit of brown, but I think that might have happened after it's been there. So you got a little bit of infestation, a little bit of brown rot. You have to spray it regularly, but the peaches aren't really falling off. And then ones that are staying on are looking pretty healthy and they're getting big. My only concern is that we're gonna go on vacation right when the peaches are prime time, and then we're gonna have issues with squirrels and company taking our crop before we can get to it. Last year, it was kind of all oozing with sap, but since we've been spraying the trunk and the branches, they all look real healthy and they're doing a full-on recovery. If you're interested in how we got the health back on this peach tree, I'll post the videos up here so you can check them out. Here's a cherry tree we transplanted back in late May. I didn't think it was going to recover, but the leaves are starting to pop out again. We got a little bit of growth there. When I transplanted it out of the barrel, this was all full. We're gonna have to trim it back. But believe it or not, when I transplanted this peach tree, it looked a lot like this the first year I put it in the ground. Do you have any tips or tricks you'd like to share with me and the rest of the community? Please post below so that we can all learn from your experiences. Thumbs up and comments always appreciated. Thanks for watching. If you like gardening, home repairs, designs of all kinds, sports gear evaluations, and developing of sports gear, check out my channel and please subscribe because you never know what you're gonna see. Oh, by the way, this is a new microphone I'm testing out. I really like it and I didn't want to put it here, so I just kept it on my hat.